Okay, hello everyone. This is Craig Misrach, President CEO for UpLyft, with another conversation today as part of our crowdfunding campaign on Start Engine. I have the good fortune of being here with Sam Shepard today. Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how we met?
Absolutely. Thank you, Craig, for your time. So my name's Sam Shepard. I'm the founder of 3DA. We're a nonprofit that advocates for people with developmental disabilities across the country. Our two main priorities are legal rights and assistive technology. Some of the work that we do includes, numerous online resources on our website, which is 3da.org. And we also do a lot of legislative efforts here in Arizona, New Hampshire, Florida, other places. And me and Craig had met at the ASTAP, the UpLyft demo that they had there, well, 3 months? No, that was in September, so that was a few months ago now. But we had met there and just I reached out and we've been, connected since.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. And I'm happy to be here today. I know you had planned on asking me some questions, which I'm happy to get into. Before we do, because we had the good fortune of meeting at ASTAP in Phoenix, and you being an advocate, as you mentioned, for people with disabilities, I'm curious if you wanted to share your impressions of what you observed when you were there, when you saw UpLyft in person, and the various attendees who came to the event who may have been experts in the field or potential patients or working in the industry.
Yeah, it was very new to me. This kind of technology is something I hadn't seen before. Um, as I said before, one of our priorities is assistive technology. I would say my expertise in that is the policy side of it. So when it comes to the provisionary and devices, especially, I'm still more and more familiarizing myself with it. I think the UpLyft, it was really cool to demo and try out myself. I know I'd kind of waited till everyone else in the room had gone through it, but it was great to try. Um, yeah, it's just really important to have this kind of technology for um, anyone, whether it's with the developmental disability, aging population, um, that kind of stuff.
Right, right. And Sam is one of the many that we like to say has been uplifted since he did successfully complete a couple transfers while we were there. So, with that, Sam, I'm happy to turn things over to you and ask away as it relates to questions you have for me or Uplift.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess a two-tiered question to begin. So tell me about how Uplift got started and how you got involved with Uplift. And I know you talked about this when we had met, but it'd be kind of great for everyone to know how it started and how you got involved.
Sure. So I'm a hired CEO for the company. I was brought on board and hired as the CEO about 6 years ago. And I was asked to lead the commercialization efforts for the company. This is my third medical device company I've led as founder CEO, and I'm proud to say here today, I was brought on to get us through our FDA registration, our clinical and usability requirements to make sure we had product market fit, establish our manufacturing, our distribution, and now today we are scaling manufacturing and expanding our sales reach around the US and Canada. I was informed about it really through a contract manufacturing partner that I'd used with one of my previous ventures, who was approached by our founder, our late founder, who was looking for a CEO to run the business. Our late founder, Anton, was a triple degree engineer from MIT, a 30-year aerospace engineer. So one of the things as to why does something like this not otherwise exist and is available on the market, it's because we had a literal rocket scientist that developed Uplift. And the reason he did was because a dear friend of his was in a car accident. He weighed 275 pounds, was paralyzed after, and wife couldn't lift him out of bed. Anton was 80 years old at the time when he invented this. This was in 2016. And the first prototype he built, his friend Patrick used it to transfer it in and out of bed independently for 2 years before he passed away. And so Anton developed the technology, filed all the patents, incorporated here in California. And we met, as I mentioned, and that's how we got off the ground.
That's incredible to hear again, I guess, but and with detail. Um, but yeah, with that, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see at large in the AT or medical device industry, broadly speaking, as well as for UpLyft specifically?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, in the industry as a whole, and it's really why we think we're so well positioned, there really is no adequate uh, bedside transfer technology for people to independently transfer out of bed. There are one or two technologies that are called scissor lifts, where the weight capacity on those is arguably 250 pounds. They have no seat, so it makes it, relative, not the most comfortable experience. And the weight of your body has to be literally on your armpits. You're hanging from your armpits versus on UpLyft, where you're just sitting comfortably with your arms at your side or maybe with one hand using the joystick. I think the second thing in this in the assistive technology space, and it's probably something a lot of executives or people commercializing the space say is the payer landscape. We live in a country where insurance reimbursement is the status quo and expectation. And actually, part of the reason I got into the space was because it seemed to be more cash pay oriented. And with standard hoists and lifts and, yes, $2,000 for a portable sling or a hydraulic, some folks can, pay out of pocket for that. But obviously, with any advancement in technology, especially one that can provide the value of either independence to get out of bed, or in the case of our zero lifting configuration, less physical burden, less time to transfer, more comfort in transfer. There's value there, and in value, so then becomes price. Um, we're not inexpensive. And so we've had to be very creative in the ways, like through our leasing program, where people can affordably get into an UpLyft or maybe use a third party nonprofit organization to get some sort of subsidy. And so I would think those are two of the most challenging aspects of this space in assistive technology.
Awesome, awesome. You also answered my next question. So the following question is, who do you normally work with? I'm guessing, I know as you talked about when we had met, it's kind of a wide range, but kind of describe your specific target market, and like organizations and people that you collaborate and do business with.
Sure. So we built this company on the foundation of a direct to consumer business. You met Bria, our VP of marketing, and she's been with us for 5 years. She previously ran marketing for F1 Racing in Montreal. So she really knows how to utilize the various marketing tactics to attract the end user consumer, which we are getting inbound leads. So it's beautiful, especially in a space where you're helping people with disabilities, that they are contacting us, expressing their interest. And so that digital funnel is something that, frankly, in the DME space is not the norm, where the industry has very much been operating with lots of cogs of the supply chain, insurance reimbursement, retail locations, as an example. So no, no, no. We're using digital marketing to build, and that's how we attract our customers in home health and institutional healthcare, which we define as senior living or complex rehab, or and there's different flavors of senior living, like skilled nursing or assistive living. We have a head of sales, and we also partner with a great organization. I am going to mention their name because they're so wonderful, which is Human Care. Human Care is a known player in the hoist and lift space, and their CEO Liz Moran has been a fantastic partner, as well as the rest of their organization. We fit like hand in glove in their product and their overhead gantry, which enables people to independently transfer. And I see a lot more synergy for our respective organizations as time moves forward. And as an example, they use a lot of dealers, both to primarily to access homes to do the last mile of delivery. And so that's another way, another avenue that we can access the consumer. Now that we are branching into institutions to augment our sales staff, we are looking to partner with other multinational safe patient handling organizations who may have a robust sales force, and we can partner with in that regard. But obviously, it's opportunities like this where we can spread the word, and have such institutions beyond trade shows, as an example, where such institutions and their staff could be available for us. LinkedIn is also, I say this all the time, doctors and nurses are people too. They're on LinkedIn. And so it's a very much a business to business platform where you can, market your technology and provide the ability for people to follow up and inquire um, over time.
That's great. Well, the last question I have then is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah. So, look, I mean, for you, I would say that with your audience, um, we are doing this for the individual. And I say the individual because that could be a senior, that could be someone with a disability, it could be somebody with a neurodegenerative condition, or disease that has slowly or at times rapidly, like in sometimes a spinal cord injury population, their mobility has been taken away from them. And the gift of independence, um, it's not something that UpLyft can't cure everything, and it can't allow you to transfer in necessarily all circumstances, but for sure in a home situation, we do have customers that go not just to the bedroom, but to the bathroom, to a couch, to a recliner. You can pick someone up off the floor. And when you're talking about institutions, picking someone off the floor is a big deal. Also, changing bed linens, and somebody could be just sitting in an UpLyft to change bed linens in a clinical care setting, which is a big deal for nurses. And so we're not just here for the individual, which is the patient or the person with limited mobility, but we're also here as part of our mission to help nurses and caregivers, lay caregivers, which are now burgeoning with home health, meaning the spouse that's caregiving for their loved one, make life a little bit easier for something that can be very challenging. And so we're just trying to do our part in that regard, Sam. So hopefully that was good for you. I do have one question for you in closing as well, for your benefit, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. So just for our audience, obviously you got to see the device. You shared a little bit of that in the beginning. But please, for those that are listening, because I consider you a thought leader in your field, I talked to you briefly before this about your initiative that I admire, as somebody that's had a passion to be involved in the space. Can you talk a little bit about that to us, about how you decide to get involved in this space? And I think the advocacy side is something those that are watching this would be interested to hear some more examples of what you're trying to do, whether it's on Capitol Hill or state-based or federal means, to help people with disabilities or those that we may have crossover with our customer base.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was in college, I went to school for poli-sci and criminology. I was involved in the student body government, which that's where I really learned what advocacy was. Meeting with administrators, faculty, staff, just trying to make the student voice heard with whatever the issues were at the time. I'm sure they're still going on, but and then I worked during the summers off of school, I worked as a direct support professional at a day program for adults with developmental disabilities. And just from that experience, that really taught me a lot about the field as a whole. It was very new to me. The importance of everyone's, day-to-day life. The part that really struck me too was just hearing a lot of the negatives, the horror stories that happen with people, whether it's abuse, neglect, exploitation, and the instances with the people that, I'd heard these stories about or had secondhand witnessed it. It was a lot of it at like their group homes and the settings there. And then I guess fast forward a little bit of time when I was finishing up college, I worked as a DSP, but this time it was in a group home setting. And this group home was ran better than any group home I've ever seen. And just realizing how well that group home was ran compared to the ones that I kind of just described before, being more horrific. That's really where the idea of 3DA came. And as for the advocacy work, the main thing that we've been doing so far is advocating for assistive technology policy. A big part is technology first. So this is really just how we can use technological solutions before other solutions when supporting people with IDD. So we had a bill here in Arizona earlier in the year. We got it past the House. This was regarding technology first. We got it past the House. It kind of got halted before going to the Senate. So we are rerunning that bill next year. We also are running a very similar bill in New Hampshire. Um, and just with that too, just trying to see where else we can really make our advocacy presence known because there's not a lot of there's really I don't know what how many organizations are out there that really advocate for assistive technology on a policy level across the country. So that's kind of what we're striving to do here.
Perfect. Well, listen, I know we'll make sure to share links for those that want to support what you're doing. But if you wanted to here at the very end, do you have a website or way people can do so?
Yes, yes. Go to 3da.org and you'll see everything that you need to know about us.
Okay, perfect. All right, Sam. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully, as well, this will be a benefit to your audience and those that follow you and the work that you're doing.
Yes, and thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks so much.